Hi, I'm Lorna, coming to you today from the nest. I'm going to show you how to cover a hoop. It's quite important that your hoop, your embroidery in your hoop maintains a tension, and we do that by covering the inner ring, so it looks like that when you're working with it, or alternatively you can cover both rings. So for my stump work, for example, I always cover the inner ring as well as the outer ring, so they're both covered. Right, for that I'm going to use a strip of muslin. So I've just cut a long strip of muslin on the bias. Muslin has a lot of stretch in it, so it can be, you don't have to have much of an angle to get a bias stretch. So you can see if I pull this like that, you can see it stretches beautifully, and you just need enough stretch to take it around that hoop. Now, when you're working with it, you can actually just fold it in half if you're dexterous, and finger press it as you go and attach it to the hoop. Alternatively, as I've done here, I've actually ironed one in half. So my strip is about 5 centimeters wide. I fold that in half, and then I'll take my inner ring, and the same method would apply to your outer ring, and I'm going to cover it. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to be working anti-clockwise, and if you're left-handed, you're going to be working in the opposite direction. Just fold the ends over, take your strip, and I'm at a very slight angle. Pull it through, stretch tight so that you're maintaining a good taut tension. You can see, if you look at it quite close up, you can see I'm just covering those raw ends, and this initial end where you started is tucked under, so it cannot come undone. So you just keep on working like this until you've covered the entire hoop. If you find you're covering a much bigger hoop and you need more than one piece of fabric, then you can join them. So I would just, exactly as I started, I would join them in the middle, folding one new piece over the other, making sure that the ends are contained. Okay, so now we've reached the end where you're going to be covering and it's going to disappear. I fold that piece over so that you don't have any raw edges sticking out. Just takes, it's a bit tricky and fiddly maybe, but you just want to keep it as neat as you can. You can always trim away any threads popping out afterwards. And now I'm covering the beginning, and I'm going to take this round and I'm going to cut it off, but I'm going to stitch it on the inside. If I stitch it there and I've got that on top, you've got more bulk, hence doing it on the inside of the hoop. Okay, so now I've trimmed the end. As you can see, it's neater. Also, it helps sometimes you can use that pair of scissors to just push the ends in. It doesn't have to be a work of art, it just needs to be taut. Now I've got a length, in this case I've just used stranded cotton, 2 strands of ordinary stranded cotton, and I've got a whopping great knot in the end, and I'm going to bury the knot underneath the muslin, stitching my nail there, and I'm going to pull that through, and then it's just a case of whipping with little stitches to catch that down so it doesn't come undone. So give it a good few catches and it should literally last forever. Okay, so you want to be stitching until you've caught it all down well and truly, and then give it 3 or 4 back stitches, and then I normally bury the thread into the a tip perhaps is to use your own distinctive color of thread, so all your hoops are stitched together with the same color of thread, and in that way you've it's your mark and you know exactly which ones are yours. I tend to do mine in pink. If you are working on the outer ring, so I'm doing the exact same thing, but I've started here, you can see the end buried, and I've carried on all the way around to this end, and instead of stopping or carrying on to cover this end, I've now got to bury it the exact same way, and you can see there I've just stitched it on the top. So my two layers would fit in like that. So giving you an enormous amount of drum-like sound because you've got such good tension. In this case, as I say, it's only the one bound. I hope that gives you an idea of how simple it is. It's a quick job, and just sit down one afternoon and do them all, and then they're done. And I have a hoop in all sizes. So I start off from the smallest through the smallest 4-inch hoop, going right through to a 12-inch, and I also then have a set of quilting hoops, so that's the deeper one, and the quilting hoop with the stalk. So then you're just good to go for any workshop. Thank you.